One killer funnel can completely change your real estate business. It can give you the momentum to go from 0 to 5 clients per month in record-breaking time. I've spent the last year running tens of thousands of dollars in YouTube ads, building complete marketing funnels for my clients, and researching the biggest real estate businesses in North America. And in this video, I'm going to reveal how to make an end-to-end funnel that will blow up your business. And it all comes down to just a few fundamentals. So what I'm going to be covering today are just the following things: the actual funnel, video content, YouTube ads, landing pages, email flows, lead magnets, converting leads, putting it all together, and then most importantly, how you can do it yourself. So just a quick thing to overview before we get into the actual funnel itself. There are 4 problems that 99% of service-based businesses face in 2025, or honestly just in general in the past decade. And that is that they don't have enough leads, all their clients come from referrals, meaning they don't have any cold traffic, and they don't have enough time to serve their clients properly. And the main reason for all 3 of these things occurring is, well, one trickles from the other. If you don't have, or if all your clients come from referrals, you're probably not getting enough leads because you're bound to the waves of referrals and the market and changes and stuff like that. And therefore, you're not getting enough consistent leads into your pipeline every single month. And because of this, you have to work with people that you really don't want to, and therefore you're not giving enough time to serve the clients the way you'd like to. So traditional methods and expecting a different result, I'm sorry, but it's just not going to work for you. So that's why implementing this funnel is going to completely change your business. So just to look at the funnel, how we break it down is 3 different segments. Okay, we have the top of the funnel, which generates the actual traffic. We have the middle of the funnel, which nurtures the leads. And then we have the bottom of the funnel, which builds authority and closes deals. Okay, so we're going to break each of these down in depth and just explain why each step is crucial for the other steps and why it makes it all work out in conjunction with one another. So starting off, we're actually going to start with the bottom of the funnel in this video, just because if we show you from the bottom to the top, it can really explain why generating the traffic is worth generating the traffic when you have this entire system in place. So at the bottom of the funnel, you have conversion mechanisms. The goal here is basically to build your authority and, in essence, close deals, okay? So you can do this through a community, like a Facebook or a school group. And in this community, you can have built-in social proof, client wins, case studies, etc. And this is going to, again, demonstrate trust and build authority. And in here, you can have direct and indirect communication with those that join your community. Another thing this is crucial to have is an appointment setting conversion mechanism. What this essentially is either you can do this yourself or you can hire an ISA. And what they do is book 3 to 10x more appointments by contacting leads directly, okay, giving them the calls. And this is going to complement all the other conversion mechanisms. You can use this if you have a community, if you have a live workshop, if you have a newsletter, etc. Okay, and it's crucial to have a CRM in order to organize the amount of leads, because you're going to have a lot of them in order to organize, like I said before, all of them in the right way. So the next conversion mechanism we have is a live workshop. Okay, this is usually a webinar or something in person. And the point here is to have a consistent schedule for live workshops. Okay, and during these live workshops, you basically want to do a live demonstration teaching about a subcategory of your niche. Okay, and you're going to want to think of these as expanding on your lead magnets, which we'll break down in a minute, in a live setting. The goal, again, is providing value, and it's an informative lesson that you're going to be talking about for this one of the subcategories within your specific business, okay? The next conversion mechanism that's really important to send out is a newsletter, okay? You want to do this at least once per week, and the point of the newsletter is, I guess the idea of it is that it's a direct link from your mind to and your thoughts to the brain of your lead, your prospect, etc. And this is one of the highest leverage tools for converting clients, because all you need to do is make it once per week, send it out as a mass letter to as many people as possible. That's leverage. So the last conversion mechanism that I recommend is long form YouTube, what you're watching right now. I find it to be the best ways to convert people, because the more time they spend watching your videos, the more trust is being built. And YouTube has a compounding effect, meaning that you can post videos and the goal basically is to get the viewer to take the next step to watch the next video. So at the end of this video, I'll have a call to action to watch another one. Why? Because this way you can spend time watching the channel, getting to know what value I bring to the table, my tonality, my cadence, etc. And then it builds trust more and more at scale. Next, we have the email flows, which is still on the bottom of the funnel. And so the point of the email flows essentially is their placement is after, for example, you have either paid ads or content, you have a delivery email flow, automated messages that follow up with the lead whenever they've downloaded a piece of your valuable content or came from your channel. Okay, let's say they booked in a call or they downloaded an ebook, etc. of yours. This is where the delivery emails and texts will come into play. You want to send them simultaneously because you're covering more ground and essentially more real estate, if you want to look at it that way, just because you're getting your name in front of them multiple times in one day in multiple areas. So the point is, in the first 2 days, you should focus on the top 3 things that relate to your niche or service. So whether it's listings, buyers, or relocation. And then basically you just want to solve common objections and FAQs here and introduce your value proposition. So like what separates you and your service, and what you actually bring to the table. Okay. And so what you can see here is essentially we're going to send an immediate lead magnet delivery email and text, whether that's, let's say you have an ebook, for example, on how to increase your home's value by 5 to 10%. As soon as they submit their information in exchange for it, essentially what you'll do is send an immediate email and text. And then from here, you're going to want to send a second email confirming whether email or SMS is better as a method to receive the lead magnet or to conversate with, okay? And then after 48 hours, a third email is going to be sent out promoting a conversion mechanism or another lead magnet. And then every 2 to 5 days, you can basically just send more follow-up emails and texts. I would recommend the newsletter now being introduced. And you can also send follow-up texts as well, just basically, offering different value propositions, okay? And so now just for your 30-day email flows at the end of this, 48-hour sequence, essentially what you can do is split up common FAQs that are related to your niche or service and general objections that have to do with working with you. And basically you then send those each day, every 2 to 5 days, okay? For example, some FAQs, you can take a screenshot of these, like how do I find a lender? What do realtors do? How do real estate commissions work? All that kind of stuff, etc. Send these out. It'll build that trust, solve all these answers. You're good to go. And why this actually works is when someone signs up for your lead magnet or joins your email list or both, they're as cold as they will ever be. And most of the time, they don't even remember your name and they don't know what you do. And so this 60-minute email flow will actually solve those problems immediately. And then the 30-day email flows, essentially what that will do is they will now begin to trust you. And if they have objections and concerns in their mind, or if they don't know if your service is applicable to them, all these problems will be solved because you've now answered all of their FAQs and objections within that 30-day email flow. And so next on the list, now moving up to the middle of the funnel, we have the actual lead magnets themselves. Now, there are 5 steps or 5 different segments in creating great lead magnets. You actually have to know what to choose. We have the first 60 seconds, the $50 test, useful test, and the readable test. So we're going to break all these down right now. So how to actually choose a lead magnet is you want to look at it in 3 different ways. You have to break it up into different categories, make sure it covers every part of your service, and that you have a master level doc for each, meaning that on the master level doc, you can explain every single sub niche of your service and the lead magnet itself. And this shows that you understand what you're saying to your prospects. And if you don't understand what you're saying, it's probably not going to be a good lead magnet. So that's why making a master level doc is important. So you can look at it like this. Let's look at it from the seller's perspective. Let's say you're a listing agent and you're working with sellers. Okay. So there's a lot of problems with listing your home. How do I prep to sell my home? What are some quick ways to increase my home's value? Can I just list it by myself? All these problems are occurring in their mind, right? And they're saying, dang, this whole listing thing is pretty difficult. And so what your goal is to have an answer to every single one of these questions within, whether you can make separate lead magnets out of each of these, or you can all include them in one. But the problem is if you only solve one of their issues or questions rather, they're still going to wonder who can help me with this. And that's why solving every single one of these makes them come to the conclusion that, you might as well just hire the person that's answering all of my questions, okay? The next thing is the 60-second test. So what you need to understand is that people, when reading lead magnets, consuming any video or content, they don't care enough to read it, okay? And so what I do is, in order to increase and keep viewer retention high, you're going to add titles and photos. And basically, the intro should be 60 seconds or less. So get a timer and read it out loud. So here's a hook. If you're buying or selling a home in an X area, you need to read this. Buying or selling your home is one of the most daunting tasks you'll ever do unless you have a step-by-step plan to take care of the process. Now, as you can see there, that was under 60 seconds, and it keeps them hooked in, and it addresses all the issues, and it leads them into reading the rest because, of course, now it wasn't too hard to digest and understand, right? Very simple wording. Next is the $50 test. So the biggest question with the lead magnets is, would you actually pay $50 for this? Okay, and how you can determine this is providing unique insights that you can't just find on Google, okay? If you can Google it and get all these answers, you're not providing them good enough information, just to be honest. So, build out some templates, frameworks, and examples, but make sure you're providing insights that they can't get elsewhere, and you're going to be good to go. And building off of the $50 test, there's the useful test, which you have to ask yourself, is this what I'm providing actually useful for them? Are there actionable steps that they can take for each part within the lead magnet itself? And can they implement these steps within 24 hours? Okay. And then lastly, the readable test, also going off of the 60-second test. Within the first 60 seconds, you want to make sure you have your hook. You want to have one image per idea. And the biggest thing, actually, do you actually talk the way that you're writing out your lead magnet? If you don't, and you're not maintaining congruency, this is a subconscious trust killer. You want to make sure that how you actually talk is genuinely how you speak, because they're going to notice that, and people can smell phony from a mile away. Make sure it's legit. Make sure it's genuine. Okay. Now moving up to still the middle of the funnel, but a little bit higher up is the landing pages. So the goal of a landing page, all it is essentially what you use to host the lead magnets and collect the contact's information in exchange for them, okay? So for example, here, there's the ad creative itself, talking about the pain points in the current market. Bill then incentivizes the lead to take the next step to go to the landing page where they can get the ebook or the lead magnet on how to sell your home above list price in as little as 14 days, right? And you can increase your home's value by 5 to 10% without spending thousands, okay? And from here, the goal is to basically click here to get the ebook. They'll submit their contact information in exchange for the lead magnet. That's all the landing page's job does. That's what we do. And that's basically the entirety of landing pages. So now we're moving to the top of the funnel, which is actual content. And for this, it's very similar with the way you structure the lead magnets. You want to break out your videos into multiple different subcategories of your niche. And this way you can have something to talk about. You'll have unlimited video ideas. And then essentially you can just solve all of their FAQs, right? That's your job. To build authority and trust, you need to be able to solve people's problems and resonate with them, okay? And so the short form video formula for this is you want to have, for example, with TikToks, Reels, or YouTube Shorts, 80% of the effort should be spent on the actual hook and your ability to deliver the hook within your messaging. And 20% of the effort should actually be spent making the rest of the video, okay? You want to make sure you have images in the video, your audio is good quality, and have captions so everybody can read it at any opportunity, okay? And 80% of the effort being on the hook doesn't mean you should spend 80% of your time on the hook, but it needs to be captivating. And that's why you can split test different hooks. At least that's what I recommend to do in order to see which resonates best in what market. And you build the hook off of the video. So make the video first and then create the hook that makes the most sense, or hooks that create or make the most sense. And then for long form videos, so for YouTube videos themselves, this is the formula that I recommend you use. So you have the hook, body, and CTA outro framework. So the goal is within the hook of the video, this is going to be your first line and your introduction. And it's going to basically set the stakes and the main payoff of why it's worth watching the rest of the video. From there, you're going to move into the body, which is basically your story or your step-by-step guide. And the goal is to add contrast and emotion to touch on the pain points and the solutions of those pain points within the body. And then the last step of the video is the call to action and outro, which is just you pitching, like I said, to another video, and add an end screen element so they can just easily click on the video, like click here, and you can point to the screen and add that element there. And so how this all works in conjunction with one another is essentially, now they're getting the mere exposure effect done to them, essentially meaning that they're watching multiple pieces of your content, you're promoting the same lead magnets, and this is building that trust and authority. So when they go to the description finally in the pinned comment, they can get that lead magnet, they get the opt-in, and they have a ton of more exposure done to them. Now they have a thank you page where they can read more of your information. You're delivering the lead magnet, you have email flows, conversion mechanisms, and then you give them a call. And all of these things combined within like the same day is essentially hitting them from all angles, building that trust because they've already seen you and are familiar with you. And it's just a no-brainer. They're going to be moved to the bottom of the funnel and you're going to close deals. And so lastly, we have the paid ads. So essentially, the formula for creating these ads are the hook, story, close framework that I recommend, which I've mentioned in all my other videos as well. Essentially, within the first 5 to 15 seconds, you want to introduce the benefits of working with you without the pains and the desire. And from here, you're going to move into the story, which is the next 15 to 60 seconds, which is your angle or your selling point and idea. And then finally, or by the way, also in the story, you want to make sure that you also include the pain points and the potential solutions to those pain points in one of your lead magnets, which you then reinforce in the close, which basically is just to incentivize them to take that next step, click that blue button on the YouTube ad, or for example, just learn more, whatever button it is on whatever paid advertising source you're using, essentially to download the lead magnet, go to the landing page. And this is just called twisting the knife. In the last 60 to 90 seconds, reinforce that close, okay? And just some metrics to go over with YouTube ads. If you want to run them yourself, I find it way better than something like Facebook. You're going to shoot for like a $30 to $50 cost per lead, a 5 to 15% opt-in rate, meaning about 5 to 15% of those who click on the ad will submit their information. And this is a really important one, $600 to $1,000 cost per acquisition, meaning you should be spending within that range to acquire a deal under contract. I find about 1 out of 30 clients or 1 out of 30 leads become a client. You're going to shoot for a 1% click-through rate, and 10% of the leads that submit their information on the first landing page, which you can see up here, will actually then book a call on your calendar. And about 95 to 99% of those leads you're going to have conversations with, and most of them are in the 0 to 3 month timeline. So overall, the main points I'm trying to stress to you is that adding content will get clients, which essentially lowers your overall cost per acquisition. Content will make your ads more effective, and also make sure that you have an effective appointment setting strategy to make sure that when you're following up with the leads after they submit their information, it's seamless. Most of it can be automated, and therefore you're just basically leveraging your time in the best way possible. Now, although I've stated in my videos, 80% of the entire funnel success comes down to the actual creative in the ad itself. Most of the work is done on the back end, and if you just have an ad without a funnel, your business is gonna fail, and the entire campaign at the very least is going to fail. So ensure you have all of these steps implemented the right way, because if you don't, if you're missing one of these, the funnel's not going to work properly. So just make sure you're getting it right, add all the steps, and you'll be good to go. So that is a full overview of the best real estate funnel strategy in 2025. No doubt you can take everything that I've explained in this video and run your own campaigns. But here's the thing, the first time you test something won't necessarily result in profit. And if you don't know which levers to pull and why you change them, you might just burn all your time and money. But the truth is, lead gen is much easier said than done. There is much more to getting clients than just this. You have to make sure that your copy resonates with the target customer. The campaign is constantly managed so that you're not wasting money, and pick the right strategy for your specific market and offer. So if you want to get more listings and generate more leads with YouTube, there's going to be a link somewhere in the description where you can personally book in a time to speak with me for a free 15-minute strategy session. Now, be sure to subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.